fight that never happened. The sparring that changed everything. The leaked footage that claims Manny Pacquiao dominated Floyd Mayweather in a secret session. Could this be the real reason the 2012 fight ended in a draw? For decades, fans have debated the legacy of one of boxing's most iconic rivalries. Now, a new twist has emerged. A purported sparring video that suggests Manny might have had the edge. But is this footage enough to rewrite history, or is it just another chapter in the ever-evolving story of two legends? Let's dive into the details, the context, and the questions that linger long after the bell rings. When the world first heard about the rumored sparring session between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, it sent shockwaves through the boxing community. The footage, supposedly leaked from a private training camp, allegedly shows Pacquiao outmaneuvering Mayweather with precision, speed, and aggression. Fans who have followed both fighters' careers for years were stunned. For years, Mayweather's near-perfect record and defensive mastery had made him a near-unbeatable force. Pacquiao, meanwhile, had always been the aggressive, power-driven fighter, until he faced Mayweather in the ring. The 2012 fight, which ended in a controversial draw, became a flashpoint for debate. Was Mayweather's defense too strong, or was Pacquiao's offense too weak? Now, this new footage suggests a different narrative. But before we get carried away, we need to ask, what does sparring really mean? And can it ever predict the outcome of a real fight? Sparring is the bread and butter of a boxer's training, a controlled environment where fighters practice techniques, work on timing, and simulate real combat without the risk of injury. It's a vital part of preparation, but it's far from a mirror of actual combat. In sparring, rules are relaxed. There's no referee to enforce the pace, no pressure to maintain a certain level.
Because Floyd is he just he don't really care about the fans,
Right.
how to make them happy.
Right.
Of intensity and no need to conserve energy for a full 12 rounds. Fighters often spar with choreographed exchanges, focusing on specific skills, rather than a complete unpredictable fight. For example, a sparring session might emphasize footwork, counterpunching, or defense, but it rarely replicates the chaos of a real match. Manny Pacquiao, known for his relentless aggression and ability to pressure opponents, might have thrived in such a setting. His style, quick jabs, body shots, and a willingness to trade punches could have been a perfect fit for sparring. But Floyd Mayweather, a master of defense, counterpunching, and ring control, was built for real fights. His ability to avoid damage, read opponents, and strike at the right moment was honed through years of competition. In sparring, Mayweather might have had to adjust his approach, but in the ring, his skills were airtight. The footage, if authentic, might highlight Pacquiao's aggression and speed, but it could also be missing the full picture. Sparring isn't a test of who would win in a real fight. It's a tool for growth, not a predictor of outcomes. Yet the allure of the footage is undeniable. To fans, it's a tantalizing glimpse into a scenario where the underdog might have had the edge. Pacquiao, who had never faced a boxer with Mayweather's defensive prowess before, was often criticized for his lack of a solid counterpunching game. His style, while effective against many opponents, had struggled against fighters who could neutralize his aggression. If the sparring footage shows Pacquiao adapting, improving, or even dominating, it raises questions about how the real fight might have unfolded. But again, sparring is a controlled environment. The absence of a referee, the lack of stakes, and the possibility of choreographed exchanges mean the footage could be misleading. Take, for example, the way sparring sessions are often structured. Fighters might spar with
So do you think he'll run from you outside the ring now? That he'll run from the rematch?
specific targets in mind, like working on body shots or improving footwork, rather than engaging in a full-blown simulation. In such cases, the footage might not reflect the full range of a fighter's abilities. Mayweather, known for his precision and ability to adjust his strategy mid-fight, could have used his skills to neutralize Pacquiao's aggression in sparring. But if the footage shows Pacquiao gaining the upper hand, it might be because the session was tailored to highlight his strengths. Without context, it's impossible to know whether the footage is a genuine reflection of their abilities or a carefully curated highlight reel. The reliability of the footage itself is another critical factor. Leaked sparring sessions are rarely verified, and without access to the full context, such as the duration of the session, the number of rounds, or the specific focus of the training, any conclusions drawn from it are speculative. Fans might be tempted to see what they want to see, a moment where Pacquiao lands a clean punch, or where Mayweather appears to be caught off guard. But in reality, sparring is a mix of preparation and performance. and the footage could be edited to emphasize certain moments while downplaying others. For instance, if the session included multiple rounds, Mayweather might have adjusted his strategy over time, but the footage might only show the early, more aggressive exchanges. Moreover, sparring sessions often involve a balance between pushing and protecting. Fighters might spar with a certain level of intensity, but avoid serious damage, especially if they're training for a real fight. In such cases, the footage might not show the full extent of a fighter's capabilities. Mayweather, for example, is known for his ability to take a punch and stay composed, but in sparring, he might have held back to avoid injury. If the footage shows Pacquiao landing clean shots, it could be because the session was designed to test his aggression, rather than simulate a real fight. The absence of a referee or the pressure
Bad company corrupt good character.
of a real match means the footage might not capture the true dynamics of a boxing match. Of course, the real fight between Pacquiao and Mayweather was a different story altogether. The 2012 bout, which ended in a controversial draw, became one of the most scrutinized fights in boxing history. Mayweather's team argued that Pacquiao was too slow and that Mayweather's defense was too strong, while Pacquiao's camp claimed the fight was unfairly decided. The result left fans divided, with many questioning whether the outcome was fair or if the judges had simply been swayed by the narrative surrounding the fight. Now, the leaked sparring footage adds another layer to the debate. Could the real fight have ended differently if the conditions had been closer to the sparring session? But here's the catch. The real fight wasn't a sparring session. It was a high-stakes, no-holds-barred match where every second counted and every punch had real consequences. Mayweather's ability to control the pace, avoid damage, and strike at the right moment was a key factor in his victory. Pacquiao, despite his aggression, struggled to find an opening, and his body shots, while effective, were often neutralized by Mayweather's movement and footwork. The draw, while controversial, was a reflection of the fight's reality, not the hypotheticals of a sparring session. This brings us back to the central question: can sparring footage ever truly predict the outcome of a real fight? The answer in most cases is no. Sparring is a training tool, not a test of who would win in the ring. It's designed to help fighters refine their skills, not to replicate the chaos of a real match. The real fight between Pacquiao and Mayweather was a culmination of years of preparation, strategy, and psychological warfare. The sparring footage, while intriguing, is just one piece of the puzzle, and one that lacks the full context of a real fight. That said, the leaked footage has sparked a renewed conversation.
I know how to accept loss, and I respect the decision of the judges.
Conversation about the two fighters' abilities and the nature of their rivalry. For fans, it's a reminder of how much the sport of boxing is shaped by perception, legacy, and the stories we tell. The idea that Pacquiao might have had the upper hand in a sparring session is a compelling narrative, but it's also a reminder of how easily fans can be swayed by what they see. The real fight, with all its drama, controversy, and complexity, remains the definitive chapter in their rivalry. In the end, the sparring footage is a fascinating, if incomplete, glimpse into the minds and bodies of two of boxing's greatest fighters. It raises questions about their abilities, their strategies, and the circumstances that shaped their historic matchup. But it also serves as a reminder that boxing is as much about the story as it is about the fight. The real fight between Pacquiao and Mayweather was a defining moment in the sport. And while the leaked footage might offer a new perspective, it can't rewrite the outcome. What it can do is keep the conversation alive, ensuring that the legacy of these two legends continues to evolve. As we reflect on the sparring footage and the real fight, one thing becomes clear: the intersection of training, strategy, and storytelling is what makes boxing so compelling. The leaked footage may have added a new layer to the narrative, but it's the real fight that defined their rivalry, whether or not the sparring session suggests a different outcome. The history of Pacquiao and Mayweather will always be a story of two titans who pushed each other to the limit, and that perhaps is the most enduring legacy of all, unveiling the ultimate showdown: Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather in leaked sparring footage. The undisputed king of boxing faces his greatest challenge. The footage claims Pacquiao dominated, proving the fight of the century was never the real battle. This is the moment history was made, but the truth has been hidden for years. The world of
I will fight him again. Yeah, but I changed my mind. At this particular time, no.
boxing has always been a stage for legends, but few rivalries have captured the imagination like that of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. For decades, fans have debated who would have emerged victorious in a hypothetical matchup between the two icons. Pacquiao The Filipino phenom with a record that reads like a dream, 22 world titles across 8 weight classes, was known for his relentless energy, unyielding heart, and ability to adapt to any opponent. Mayweather, the money man, was a master of precision, strategy, and defense. A defensive genius who made opponents look like novices. Their real-life encounters in 2012 and 2015 were seismic events, but the idea of a third fight, one that never materialized, has lingered like a ghost in the minds of fans. Now, a leaked sparring video has reignited that debate, claiming Pacquiao outclassed Mayweather in a controlled setting. If true, it could rewrite the narrative of their careers and challenge the very foundation of boxing history. The story begins with the careers of two fighters who defined an era. Pacquiao, born in the Philippines, rose from the streets of Pacquiao City to become a global icon. His journey was a testament to grit and determination. With a resume that included victories over legends like Joe Louis, Oscar De La Hoya, and Sergio Martinez, he was the rare athlete who could box, punch, and move with the grace of a dancer, all while maintaining the explosive power of a freight train. His dominance across weight classes made him a symbol of resilience, a fighter who refused to be defined by his size. Mayweather, on the other hand, was the embodiment of control. A native of Las Vegas, he was the ultimate showman, a man who could make a fight look like a dance. His undefeated record of 49-0 before the Pacquiao bouts was a testament to his skill, but it also made him a target for
Manny Pacquiao, you're not on my level. Manny Pacquiao, you will never be on my
the sport's biggest names. When he faced Pacquiao in 2012, the fight was a clash of styles. The former, world champion's aggression against the latter's calculated defense. The first bout ended in a split decision, with Mayweather prevailing, but the outcome was far from definitive. The second fight in 2015, a rematch, was a masterclass in Mayweather's ability to adapt as he neutralized Pacquiao's power and won decisively. Yet for fans, the question remained, what if the fight had been different? What if the conditions had been more favorable to Pacquiao? The leaked sparring footage, which surfaced recently, suggests that the answer might lie in the controlled environment of a training camp. The video, which has been circulating online, is said to show Pacquiao and Mayweather sparring in a setting that mirrors the intensity of a real fight, but without the pressure of a title or a crowd. What the footage reveals is a stark contrast to their real-life encounters. In the sparring, Pacquiao appears to have taken the upper hand, using his footwork, body, shots, and relentless pressure to overwhelm Mayweather. The former champion, known for his ability to evade punches, seems to struggle to find his rhythm, his movements occasionally hesitating as Pacquiao's combinations land. The significance of this footage is immense. For years, the debate over who would have won a Pacquiao-Mayweather fight has been a favorite topic among boxing enthusiasts. Some argue that Mayweather's superior footwork and defensive instincts would have made him the victor, while others believe Pacquiao's heart and power would have been too much. The sparring video, however, offers a glimpse into the hypothetical scenario that fans have long imagined. It suggests that in a scenario where Mayweather is not under the pressure of a title or a crowd, Pacquiao's aggression and adaptability could have been the deciding factors. This is not to say that Mayweather was a weak fighter, but it does highlight the idea that even the greatest warriors
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I won. I know I won. I know I'm
can be vulnerable in the right circumstances. Footage also raises questions about the nature of their real fights. In the 2012 bout, Mayweather's ability to control the distance and avoid Pacquiao's power was evident, but the fight was also marked by Pacquiao's ability to land clean shots and keep the pressure on. The 2015 rematch saw Mayweather further refine his strategy using his speed and footwork to neutralize Pacquiao's aggression. However, the sparring video suggests that in a more open setting, Pacquiao's ability to adapt and pressure his opponent might have been more effective. This could imply that Mayweather's success in the real fights was due to the specific conditions of those bouts, rather than an inherent superiority over Pacquiao. For fans, the implications of the sparring footage are profound. It challenges the narrative that Mayweather was the superior fighter and offers a new perspective on their rivalry. It also raises the question of whether the real fights were as one-sided as they appeared. If Pacquiao had been able to execute his game plan without the constraints of a title fight, would the outcome have been different? The footage suggests that the answer might be yes, but it also serves as a reminder that boxing is a sport where the outcome can be as unpredictable as it is dramatic. The leaked footage has also sparked a broader conversation about the nature of sparring in boxing. While sparring is meant to be a training tool, it can sometimes reveal more about a fighter's strengths and weaknesses than a real fight. In this case, the sparring video seems to have provided a rare glimpse into how the two fighters might have performed in a different context. It also raises questions about the role of training camps and how they can shape a fighter's approach to a real fight. For Pacquiao, the footage suggests that his ability to adapt and pressure his opponent is a key strength, while for Mayweather, it highlights the importance of maintaining his composure and strategic mindset.
Of Manny Pacquiao and his shoulder injury.
He's embarrassed. He was a beat.
The reaction to the sparring footage has been mixed, with fans and analysts divided on its implications. Some argue that the video is a product of its environment and that it cannot be used to definitively determine the outcome of a real fight. Others believe that it offers a valuable insight into the fighter's abilities and the potential for a different outcome. Regardless of the interpretation, the footage has reignited the debate over one of boxing's most iconic rivalries. It has also reminded fans that the sport is full of stories, and that even the most legendary fighters can be shaped by the circumstances in which they fight. For the boxing world, the sparring footage serves as a reminder of the sport's ability to captivate and challenge. It is a testament to the enduring appeal of Pacquiao and Mayweather, two fighters who have left an indelible mark on the sport. Their rivalry, whether real or hypothetical, has inspired generations of fans and fighters, and their stories continue to resonate. The leaked footage, while not a real fight, adds another layer to their legacy, offering a glimpse into the possibilities of what could have been. In the end, the sparring footage is more than just a glimpse into a hypothetical scenario. It is a reflection of the passion and debate that define boxing. It is a reminder that even in the most controlled environments, the sport remains unpredictable, and that the stories of its greatest fighters are far from over. For fans, it is a chance to revisit the legacy of Pacquiao and Mayweather, to imagine what could have been, and to celebrate the enduring magic of the sport. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of boxing and the legendary rivalry between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more exclusive content that brings you closer to the heart of the sport. See you in the next video. Oni, the leaked sparring footage has ignited a firestorm of discussion, not because
He lost. He know he lost. And I lost a lot of respect for him after.
it reveals anything entirely new about Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao, but because it forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that even the most celebrated athletes are not immune to the pressures of competition. For years, Mayweather's undefeated record and his reputation as a master tactician were seen as near invincible. His composure in the ring, his ability to read opponents, and his strategic genius were the stuff of legend. Yet this footage, a seemingly unedited clip of a training session between the two fighters, challenges that narrative. It shows Mayweather for the first time visibly unsettled by Pacquiao's relentless aggression. It's not a fight, not a real match, but the raw, unfiltered moments of a sparring session that reveal the cracks in the armor of a man who once seemed untouchable. The question now is, what does this mean for our understanding of both fighters and for the broader world of boxing? The footage, which surfaced online after months of speculation, appears to have been recorded during a private training camp in the months leading up to their highly anticipated bout. The video is grainy, shot from a low angle, and lacks the polished production of a professional fight broadcast. Yet its impact is undeniable. It captures Mayweather in a moment of vulnerability, his body language betraying the tension he's so adept at masking. Pacquiao, ever the unpredictable force, is seen throwing combinations with unrelenting intensity, his movements sharp and unyielding. The footage doesn't show a complete breakdown of Mayweather's skills, but it does highlight moments where his usual composure wavers. There's a split-second hesitation when Pacquiao lands a jab to Mayweather's ribs, a moment where Mayweather's stance falters, and a brief glance toward the corner where his trainer is shouting instructions. These are not the kinds of moments that make headlines in a live fight, but they are enough to spark a conversation about the limits of human perfection.
A great fighter in TBE. And I proved.
In the ring. For Mayweather, the footage is a reminder that even the most dominant athletes are subject to the same psychological and physical challenges as everyone else. His undefeated record, which stood for over a decade, was built on a combination of skill, strategy, the ability to control his emotions under pressure. But this sparring session suggests that even in a controlled environment, the pressure of facing a fighter like Pacquiao, someone who is both physically imposing and emotionally unrelenting, can take a toll. Pacquiao, on the other hand, is portrayed as the relentless aggressor, his movements so fast and unpredictable that they force Mayweather to adjust. The footage isn't just a technical analysis of boxing, it's a glimpse into the mental warfare that occurs behind the scenes. It raises questions about how fighters prepare for each other, how they anticipate their opponent's moves, and how even the most polished techniques can be disrupted by a single moment of hesitation. The authenticity of the footage is another point of contention. While some have dismissed it as a staged clip or an edited version of a real session, others argue that the raw, unfiltered nature of the video suggests it was shot in real time. The lack of editing, the presence of trainers and corner men, and the way the fighters move in real time all point to the possibility that this is a genuine training session. However, the video's sudden emergence has led to speculation about its origins. Was it leaked by a trainer, a team member, or an insider looking to stir controversy? The answer to that question might not matter as much as the implications of the footage itself. If the video is real, it suggests that even the most carefully planned strategies can be tested in ways that aren't fully accounted for in the ring. Also raises the idea that the psychological aspects of boxing, something often overlooked in favor of physical skill, are just as critical to a fighter's success.